Hello, everyone. A warm welcome to Growth Club. In Growth Club, we speak about personal finances. Life insurance is one of the main important topics when it comes to personal finance planning. Now, we have already started a an experience sharing session for you to get an understanding about some of the important areas in financial planning. And in this segment, we are planning to give you some insights in detail insights about certain areas in life insurance. So in this video, we are going to talk about um, right 6 items where you have to have an understanding when you are getting a life insurance policy, right? In other words, don't buy a life insurance policy without checking these 6 items. Now, if you are a wealth planner, financial advisor, or a life insurance agent, please do share this video with your clients so that they have a proper understanding about the policy that they are purchasing. From that, you can create more empowered customers means you can have a great after sales service. You can service the policy very well. On the other hand, if you are a prospective client who is planning to buy a life insurance policy, don't buy life insurance without checking these 6 items. In case you got this video from a financial advisor or a life insurance agent or from a wealth planner, you know your wealth planner or the financial advisor or the person who shared this video is a gentleman or a lady whom you can trust, right? Because they want to empower you when it comes to finances. So there are 6 items. So pay attention to these 6 items. So I'm going to elaborate them in detail one by one so that you can have an understanding. Right before that, please subscribe to Growth Club. We empower customers to take more empowered financial decisions. So, having said that, let's jump into the first item of the agenda. Now, before you buy a life insurance policy, you need to do a thorough analysis about yourself. Why am I buying this policy? That's the question that you need to ask. Life insurance companies offer life insurance plans, retirement plans, health plans, protection plans, there are education plans, there are many plans available. Let's assume that you are a family man, you are a breadwinner, you contribute to the family, and you have dependents. In that case, you need financial protection. So that's the purpose of buying life insurance. Let's say you have a family and you want to cover your medical expenses, you don't have a health insurance plan, then you need to think about a health insurance plan. So that is the second area. I have spoken about this, we have discussed about this in a video separately. You can watch it in our channel as well. The second area is health insurance. The third one is, let's say you have very young kids, or let's say you have kids who are getting their education when they like reach 18, 19, 20. If you have, let's say, 10, 15 years, good number of years, you can plan for their education as well. In that case, your need is education. If you have covered your protection well, if you have covered your health, and if you have covered your children's education, then you can think about your retirement plan. So in that case, the first thing that you need to have an understanding is the financial need analysis. You need to have a thorough understanding about your situation. As I very correctly said, why am I buying this policy? You need to ask this question from you. And the financial planner, wealth planner, or the life insurance agent, uh, when that person is approaching you, he has to discuss these areas, and after discussing that only they have to offer a solution, right? If any wealth planner or if any advisor is offering you a product without asking you these questions, please be mindful, right? If he is not asking, at least you need to have an understanding, right? Maybe your need is, let us, your need might be protection, but they may offer you an investment plan or retirement plan or child education, but your prime need is your protection. Let's say you have your protection covered, you have, let's say, very good health cover, and that person is offering once again a protection cover, a health insurance, right? So in that case, you need to be mindful, right? Think again, why am I buying this policy? So that is the first thing that you need to understand. So let's go to the second one, the cash icon. The second one is, before I tell the fact, I will give you some ground about it. Now, I have seen clients who are starting their policy by putting some amount of money, the first monthly premium, and they don't pay afterwards. Why? Because they haven't done a proper budgeting. They haven't analyzed their finances. So when they pay and start the policy, and in the next month they can't continue it. Oh, they don't have enough funds. Sometimes some customers that they continue this maybe up to 5 6 months and then they stop it, right? Some customers they continue for like 2 3 years and then they stop it when they come across financial difficulties and all that. So you need to think about the affordability as well, right? Can I continue this policy without a problem, right? So do a thorough uh, budget, right? Write down your numbers, and maybe if you can set aside 10 to 15% of your income for a life insurance policy. I think I'm not telling that is not important, that is very important, at most important, but you need to have an understanding about your affordability as well. Can I set aside 10 to 15% of my income without a problem for some number of years? So that is the second thing. The third one, now, there are two periods, two terms which are important in a basically in a life insurance policy, right? The first term, I cannot say one term is important than the other. Both the terms are very important. These are paying term and the protection term or the policy term. Paying term means the number of years that you pay the premium, the number of years that you deposit the premium. That is the paying term. The policy term or the protection term is the period where you get the protection. Now, in many cases, the protection period and the paying period, we call it policy term and the premium paying term, both are same in most of the cases. But there are certain circumstances where you have less paying period but you have a higher protection period. Like, let's take an example. Let's say you are, let's say, what, 50 years young, right? You get a policy for 15 years, which means you are protected till 65 years. You get your maturity at the age of 15. If it is a whole of life plan, you get a fund at the end of 15 years. But you know that you cannot continue to pay premiums beyond 60 because according to current regulations, you can work only up to 60 years. You can work, of course, after that as well, but officially you can work only up to 60 years. Then your premium paying term has to be 50, not 15 years, 10 years, but your policy period is 15 years. So these are some ideal scenarios. Let's assume that there is a young gentleman who is 25 years young. Now you can go for a period, let's say 35 years, paying period, and the protection period as well, which means from 25 to 60 he's paying premiums and he get the protection as well. So how can we decide the paying period and the protection period? Based on your situation only. We need to have an understanding. Now let's say, when am I finishing my responsibilities, right? Let's say you have kids, one kid, let's say you have kids, both are, let's say, 5 years and 6 years. In about another 15 years you are done with their education, right? In about 20 to 20 what 20 to 20, let's say 25 years, you are done with their marriage as well. Now they are 30 years old. So if in that scenario you can get a protection plan for 25 years, right? So based on your life scenarios, based on your life circumstances only, you have to decide the paying term and the protection term, right? So if you don't know about these terms, right, in the policy that you are getting, ask your financial advisor, right, to show them that is in the quotation, right? If you can't see it in the quotation, let's say you have already got your policy document, if you have done with your registration, now you have taken your life insurance, then check it in the policy document that is available in the policy document. If you don't see it, speak to your financial advisor, um, or you can speak to me as well, right? I'm more than happy to help you out. All right. The other area is now, it's like this. You can't be expecting the life insurance company to pay your medical bills when you get hospitalized if you have an investment plan, right? The scenario is, the idea is, you need to have an understanding about the riders that you have in your policy. What are these riders? Riders means additional benefits. So I'll list some of the important riders that are available in the market. Hospital bill cover. Various companies call this in different names, but basically what it does is, when you get hospitalized in a paying ward, your bills are paid. So that is a bill cover. And there are per day benefits, which means based on the number of days that you are staying in the hospital, the insurance company pays you some amount that is for loss of income, that is per day benefit. And the critical illness cover. So based on the company, the number of critical illness that they're covering can be different. So but there is a global standard, I think 37 or 36 critical illnesses. So critical illness cover, right? If you don't get these when you're signing up for the policy, you can't get the covers. It's like you're buying a car without a airbag, and when you hit with an accident, when you meet with an accident, you're expecting the airbag to come out. It won't happen, right? So if you want to get your airbag open in case of an accident, you need to buy a car which has a airbag, something similar to that, right? I was telling about the critical illness cover. And there are surgery covers, and there are women covers as well. There are some covers in the market which are available only for women specific diseases, right? So these are the main covers that are available in the market. So other than that, there are other rider covers as well. So if you talk about life cover and accident cover, these covers are, accident cover is a additional cover, but the life cover, in most of the cases, life insurance companies offer the product with a life cover, which means if something happens to you, in case if you die, the company pays some fund to your beneficiaries, that to the people you nominate when you're signing up for the policy. So you need to have an understanding about the riders that are available in your policy, right? I have come across clients, they have like good 2 3, some even have 5 policies, but they don't have an understanding about the riders that are available. If I ask them how much life cover you have, they don't know. Do you have critical illness covered in any of these policies? I'm not too sure, right? So you're paying something for the insurance company, right? So you need to have an understanding about your policy. Right? If you're buying a car by like putting a lease or by taking a loan, you check all the features in the car, right? When you're buying a mobile phone, you check all the features. Not that we are using them in on day to day basis, but still we check all the features and we pay the price. But why don't we check our life insurance policy, right? It's high time. Like if you are a person who's having multiple policies, it's high time for you to check the covers that are available, right? In certain companies there is a online portal, right? Which means you can check your covers, you can check all the details about your policy in an online account, right? Ask your financial advisor to set it up for you, or if you have policy documents, take it out and see in the policy document they have mentioned these covers, how much critical illness I have, how much bill cover I have, how much life cover I have, how much uh, a life cover right per day, right? Check for these numbers. These are very important, right? And most of the um, unpleasant experiences are happening in the life insurance industry are mainly because of this, right? You go, you expect the insurance company to pay for your claims, but you haven't, you haven't covered it in your policy, right? How can a company pay uh, a cover without you getting your covers in the first place, right? So when you are getting the policy, take possible maximum possible uh, rider covers. All right. So check for the rider covers. uh, so that is also important. The other thing is there are certain periods and important conditions that you need to aware about the policy, right? So I will mention some of these conditions, right? The first one is exclusions. In some life insurance policies, there are certain things which are excluded from the cover, right? I will tell you an example. Let's say um, when you get a hospital bill cover, which means you go to a hospital, you stay in the hospital, you get treatments, and you insurance company pay the bill, and you get yourself discharged. In such a scenario, there are certain conditions, like for these diseases we are not paying in the first year, for these diseases we are not paying in the first 6 months, for these diseases we are not paying at all, right? Some insurance companies uh, do not cover mental illnesses, right? One example, they do not cover at all. Let's say some insurance companies do not cover certain types of illnesses in the first year, right? You need to have an understanding about exclusions. Ask your financial advisor what are the exclusions in this policy. On the other hand, or else you can ask, what am I not getting in this policy? Tell me, right? Show me it in the policy document. So you should be able to ask that question because that's your hard-earned money, right? So check for exclusions. The second thing is waiting period. When you get a cover from a life insurance company, there are certain how do I say it? There is a certain period where you don't get the cover. Let's say you get a policy today, and for you to get the claims, you have to wait, let's say 90 days, 180 days. Afterwards, only you can get your claims, right? So there are waiting periods for, like that. Generally, the life cover is available from the moment where you get your policy activated. Once the policy is accepted, you get the life cover in most of the cases. Accident covers are applicable, but other covers, diseases, there is a certain waiting period, right? So ask your financial advisor what is the waiting period for each of these covers. Based on the cover, the waiting period is different. The third one is the minimum survival period. uh, Even if it is after the waiting period, for certain illnesses, for certain covers, there's a minimum survival period, right? For me to get this cover, so get diagnosed today, and I need to like survive for this many days for me to get the policy, right? That we call the minimum survival period. So there are conditions like that in the life insurance policy. So you get this understanding, and then you won't have hiccups when you're going to get the claim, because you have a thorough understanding what are paid, what are not paid, right? Perfect. All right. So with that, so we are going to the final one, that is a person, professional guidance, right? So the person who is giving the policy, so that is also important. So integrity plays a pivotal role in when you are getting uh, 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 but a cover like this, right? So just check for his background as well, right? How many policies has he done, and the number of years, that check for the number of years, or the credentials that he has, or if he's a good friend of yours, so that is also good. So just check for their professional guidance, like and the other thing is, when you check for professional guidance, with that, don't depend on his personal advice. Like, you need to check facts with the insurance company as well, right? Check with the policy document to see whether the things he is telling is correct, right? So don't depend on one person, right? So that you can, you know um, avoid disappointments when you are planning to get your claims. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, so I wanted to talk about certain, like, things that we need to think about when you are getting a life insurance policy, right? Simply, I can say, do not buy life insurance without checking these 6 items. So check for these 6 items, and I'm planning to talk about life insurance and personal finances in detail in this video. So if you are new here, please do subscribe, so that you will get more empowered financial decisions in your um, in your life, for you to create a better future. So with that, please do subscribe. Um, click on the bell icon. Please like the video. Please leave a comment if you like the video, and suggest this video to your friends. Right? Okay. So with looking forward to meet you with another video. Till then, stay safe. Thank you very much.